I think anyone should use these Native Instruments plugins, and in order to really make my point, so I took a few minutes and mixed the whole song with none but Native Instruments, and I just want to show you how to use them, some of my tips and tricks for different plugins, and go from there. So I want to start from the master bus to the vocals, which is like the first few tracks in the mix, and go from there. All right, so here's a little bit of the mix before anything was done to these tracks, before pre-Native Instruments. Not too bad. So these are the raw tracks, butt naked, nothing, no processing at all. So now, with a little bit of Native Instrument love, here's what we got.
Oh, you may not have the loudest voice, but you could sing above the noise. The flashing lights, the endless toys, take all that you're hearing and make it yours. Keep it in your soul. Never let it go. No.
All right. So here's what we got. So for the master bus, we have, okay, so this Ozone thing is technically not tagged as a Native Instrument plugin like this one is, but they're under the same umbrella, so it's close enough. So when you buy some Native Instrument stuff, you get some of these things in the bundle as well. All right, so we have that thing on here. Matter of fact, what I'm gonna do is keep everything bypassed, and we can go through the mix with them. So aside from, like what I would do is gain, set my rough settings. So I mix into whatever the 2-bus process is gonna be for the mixes. I mix into it. So what I usually do is gain match, or come here and bring this, leave that here, and just go. Because sometimes these things have a certain sound. They may be bright or dark, or they may add mid-range frequencies behind the scene, and I feel like if I don't mix into my bus processing and put that in afterwards, sometimes I find myself rearranging things, pulling things, pushing things, just because sometimes these 2-bus processes add either low frequencies, mid or high, or anything in between. So I'll mix into my 2-bus process, just so I can accommodate for whatever this thing is adding or lacking. All right, you can hear the difference, hopefully. All right, then after that, we have an instance of this solid bus compression, which is very obviously SSL style bus compressor. Right, so it has a little bit of a gain reduction going in. Then we have an EQ, which looks like a passive EQ, one of those tube EQs. If you can think of the Manley passive EQ, it kind of reminds me of that. Not saying it is that, but just the layout reminds me of. So it's in, you can throw it either left, right, or mid-side. It is in mid-side. All right, doing some mid-side EQing. So this is a metering plugin. It is not a native instrument plugin, but I need to monitor what's happening with levels. All right, so this is also attached to the UF1 in front of me, so I can close it and still have some information. All right, for the drum bus, we have a Verimue style compressor. It's pretty active right now. But if you know anything about tube compression, rely on your ears more than your eyes looking at a tube compressor or a Verimue style compressor. All right, so this is there to compress all the guitars. Low end, we have a little bit of SSL compression on the low end, so those are basses and kicks. Same thing here for the keys. So nothing on the highs. So these are the highs. Lows. All right, basses and kicks. All right, and then we have drums. Okay, so that's everybody. Then I don't know if I played the vocals.
No, you may not have the loudest voice.
All right. Okay, so a little bit of compression on the keys. And then same thing on the vocals, a little bit of compression here to glue. Not doing much. And then this is something weird that I like to do is put transient designers on vocals. It's usually doing 1 or 2%. And here it is. I think it adds a little bit of brightness and it helps something like this vocal compete in a sea of tracks like this song. So, it's not supposed to be like obvious. It's supposed to be subtle and hopefully you can hear it. All right, what else we got? We got the drum bus. We have, I'm gonna do this here. So we have passive EQ. We have compressor. Right, so things are starting to have some sort of like a sound. And then we have a small hall. Why would you put a drum set in a hall? It's beyond me, but I don't know. Sounds good. drums in the hall. So Reverb Classics looks like a certain type of reverb that you may be familiar with, probably a lexicon, some really great sounding reverb. All right, so right after that we have, probably should mute some of these other things. We're gonna get distracted. So we'll have the company of a bass, so we'll keep the bass. All right, so this thing is, I'll probably do like a separate video on this processor. It's a saturator. It does quite a bit. You know, add some saturation, some transient control. So this thing has an upward expander and possibly downward expanding things as well. So it's on very low percentage. Right, so sort of like warming things up. All right, so here's a 1176 style compressor on ambient room mic. So a little bit of EQ. If this reminds you of any EQ, it'll be an SSL style EQ. For this room mic, it's a mono room mic, just taking out low information, low mid information, and leaving everything else, mid, high mids, highs alone. Actually, kind of taking out some of the sizzle out of that microphone. Kind of like darken it and, you know, distortion, and then compress it. All right, there's another room mic. So they're probably suffering the same fate as, so they're getting the same processing pretty much, those room mics. All right, so the drums are really starting to come along nice. So now we have some overheads. So for the EQ for overheads, what do we have? Let's play them. Pretty much same thing for the overheads, removing some low frequencies, some super low mids, 180 out of the overheads, lots of 180, a little bit of low mids at 400, and then trying to take out of the overheads some of the snare, so pulling out some of the snare and a shelf at 10K pretty much, and no low pass filtering. See, this EQ sounds pretty good. Strategy. So it's got a G and an E flavor. They sound different. So the G is supposed to be more natural, and this one's supposed to add something in the mids, supposed to make a mid-range instrument stand out a little more. This one's a bit more neutral and natural. I hope you can hear it. And it's not subtle at all. All right, I don't know why I'm cooking the overheads like that, but they're getting cooked for whatever crazy reason. Probably want to relax this thing. All right, overheads. And then let's add it to the... All right, and then we have the toms. All right, a little bit of EQ. So this is the enhanced EQ. So this thing's got 3 bends, high, mid, low. So for the low band, you can boost and you can cut. And these are your frequencies. You have from 120 hertz to 20 hertz. So low frequencies, you can cut if you need to. So now you can boost if you want to. And now these are our frequencies. We have 16K all the way up to 1K. Or down to 1K. All right, so no cut for this band. Now for this band, pretty limited. This one had a Q, no Q here. No Q, no boost. You have a cut. That's all you get. And these are your frequencies. You have 20K all the way down to 4K. All right. So pretty good for vocals and I guess toms. All right. So these are rack toms. I'm just going to bypass all these together. All right. So before. And the toms are pretty simple. All right, pretty simple. So we have the EQ, we have some compression, we have this thing called driver. I'm not gonna use this one. Amazing plugin. All right, so and then we have this. So this plugin is It's got a saturation section, gain reduction for compression, so your attack and release, your output meters, and then you have this character knob where you can dial up fatness, warmth, or brightness. And then you have your mix knob right here if you want to do some dry and wet combination, dry signal, wet signal combination. You have that. You can link the stereo, you can link the two sides, you can use it as a dual mono. You have a mid-side mode as well. Output, I don't like it as much as some of the other plugins, but it does the job. And the fact that this interface looks the way it does tells you what Native Instruments think about this thing as well. They haven't updated the interface, it seems like. All right, and then we have same thing, driver, and this Supercharger GT thing, and then driver. So driver is going to it to give us some decent tom sound. Pretty cool. All right. Dope. Pretty nice. All right, then you have your hi-hat, so there's a little bit of EQ for the hi-hat. Nothing too crazy. Some compression. All right, since the hi-hat is pretty much in every microphone, I don't have to have it so high, so it can be low and still be effective because it's everywhere. Snares. All right, so for snare we have this beautifully done reverb. Sounds pretty good in it. Some good sounding snares. Okay, so this is the first time we are seeing this solid dynamics thingy. All right, so it has a compressor side and it has a gate and expander side, downward expansion. And you can kind of like expand the floor, sweep the floor, clean the floor. So get rid of some of the bleeds that are in these microphones. So without this plugin, we have a lot more than snare in these microphones. All right, so a lot less junk. Probably should bring this back where it was. All right, have a little bit of EQ, seen this before. And then, this is the first time you're seeing this VC 160. So this is the famous VCA compressor that makes whatever you put through it sounds a lot louder and punchier. It's probably inspired by DBX 160, but we don't know. Who knows? We don't know. But it sounds good though. You can hear it. Nice. Let's add some of this dry signal. All right, there we are. All right, these were the snares. Then we have kicks. All right, so let's add this one. Snare sounds so good. So kick, pretty much same process, gating, EQing into this saturation plugin, and have a bit of a room on it. So these plugins, not only do they do the reverb thing, they also have a sound, you know, like if you're listening, it makes the kick fatter. Gives it a little bit of low and high type of, it sounds like it gives a little bit of low and high types of boost. All right, so, and then, you know, you have percussions. So the process for the percussion is pretty simple. Some of them are getting compressed. Some of them are getting EQ'd. Some of them are getting EQ'd and adding a little bit of reverb, like in the case of this tambourine. And then the percussion's pretty much gonna change when they get here. All right, so I like those claps. I think it's these ones. Love those. So what's happening to them? Glad you asked. So more EQing. So what's happening here is removing some of that cardboardy sound, remove lows, and kind of like boosting a little bit of mid-range. Oh, highs, 22K, 1 dB of 22K, 6 decibels of a bit of 1K, 2-ish. right? Some compression to keep everything solid together, some distortion, and then a little bit of tape compression, reverb. This is really, really an amazing plugin. I don't know. I'm sure people are using it. It may be like a secret weapon for a lot of people. This thing is pretty cool. Not doing much, pretty much controlling level. Make sure. This thing is so gentle and so nice. It's very hard to believe that it's gonna like destroy what we did here, but it keeps, it sort of like keep everything sort of like smooth and in check or whatever. All right, in the bass, we're doing very simple, very simple. Keep it simple. Some compression, a bit more compression. So these are like mining, kind of like looking out for the peaks. Whenever you're doing bass, you could do really fast release on the bass, but it creates more problem than solution. So you kind of want to back off this this just a bit, even though it's pretty fast still, but it doesn't create as much issues. All right, so some saturation, a bit more EQing, taking out some junk around 600. No, wow, that's a crazy decision. Oh, for the kick, so making some room here for the kick, taking out 100, a little, so carving out a little bit of 100 hertz on the kick, on the snare. Oh my goodness, on the bass. So make some room for the kick on the bass. So these two can coexist. What else are we doing? All right, not much else. All right, and it goes into this thing. I'll probably do like a separate video for bite and this thing, dirt and bite, and really go in and you know, these ones have beautiful interfaces, and that tells you a lot what these people think about these plugins. Like the interface is beautiful, it's updated, but these ones, you know, they don't look so good. They sound pretty good to me. I wish they would update, make these markings and these letters much more high definition and not so pixelated like this, but it's fine, it works. All right, so guitars, we have so electric guitars are pretty simple, pretty, you know, pretty simple. Here's what happened to them. nothing too crazy. Just add a little bit of clarity. So some compression. Pretty much doing this. So now we have this thing. We're sending a little bit of this rhythm. So a little bit of upper mids, 8K-ish area, but from you see this. It looks like a certain amp, you know, and then these ethereal, angelic. So these are going to, you see what this look like? It looks like most likely a Fender. You see this? It looks like what it looks like. If you've been around this kind of work for any length of time, you've seen this cabinet. You know, you've seen this amp. So adding some of that Fender magic stuff. All right, and then we have the acoustic guitars. Nothing too crazy, you know, compression, and this is, you know, adding a little bit of flavor. So now we have these guitars. So we have some picking over here. So did, you know, EQ'd out the low mid junks, which it's usually, like, most of our issues for acoustic guitars usually below 150 to remove 7 dBs of 155, add some mid-range at 3K, adding crap ton of 4K, 14 decibels of 4K, and that's it. So pretty much doing the heavy lifting, and then this is kind of like adding some, feels like tube distortion. So now we have this flare, which feels like, is it flange? Adding some flanging. A little bit of spring reverb, and then that's it. You know, pretty much the same like these other strum. So we have some strumming. you know, the song starts with the picking. Sounds pretty gross. I'm telling you, these plugins are pretty good. All right, and then we have the keys. Like really great playing. All right, so we have, let's start here. Probably start here. Probably should turn on the keys. And then we have this thing called Freak. All right, don't worry about the name. So the plugin is pretty good. Plugin is pretty sweet. So we're gonna run through some. I can probably do like a separate tutorial for the Freak, Dirt, and the other one, Bite. Pretty cool plugin. So this is doing some panning. All right, so the two bus starts with this reverb. And then a little bit of distortion. You know, they're all pretty much getting the same thing, except for this one's got this plugin on it. So EQ, compression. Ooh, excuse me. Sorry, my bad. All right, so this one took a different path, went into a chorus. Onto a chorus. Kind of like adding some movement to it, smooth it out. Pretty cool plugin. And then we have my favorite instrument in the whole world. If I can find where it starts at. Nothing like an organ. Oh my gosh, they sound so good. All right. So they're all pretty much sort of, getting compressed, distortion into, so we also have the Reverb Classic 48. It looks what it looks like. You can probably tell what it looks like. All right. All right, so in this stack of thing, I feel like if you don't get anything right, you have to get those pianos right. Or this piano. Those pianos, we have 2 tracks of pianos. All right, so if you don't get anything right, that's pretty much the leader of the keys right here. And everybody plays, supporting actresses or actors to what the piano does. All right, so I had to thin it out. We have a bass track, so it can't be so big and so massive. Doing a little bit of EQ to try to thin it out. High pass filter all the way up to 95. Removing tons of. We put a shelf at 147 and remove quite a bit of it. Adding 1K, adding 3K, and a shelf at 6K. So if I take this out, you hear it. Sounds so beautiful. And some reverb. Compressing the reverb so you can hear the tail. Who added more reverb? Don't know, but it sounds decent. All right. And then those 2 tracks are pretty much the same track. You got this right here. Holding out the chords while they're doing some melody.
You've been chosen to do great things. You are more than what you've been revealing. Let it out and let it shine. And know that it's only a matter of time until they know as well as you know. It's time they know.
All right, so here's the vocal. Sounds pretty dope. So here's what's happening. All right. So we have this thing that's acting like a tape simulator. So doing some upward expansion, some so this is pretty much adding a little bit of downward expansion to the compression curve. Not using a ton of it, so 28%. So this is sort of like adding another bump to the curve of upward expansion, and these things we're leaving alone, because if you go that way with it, it'll start to like introduce aliasing, more of it. All right, and this is acting like a tube compression. We have some de-essing.
It's time they know.
All right, so Native Instruments don't have a de-esser, so we're using the Pro Tools stock de-esser for this kind of job. Bit of compression, and do that from here. Oh my gosh.
It's time they know that you've been chosen.
This reverb is pretty good. I like it. So this is, what do you call this thing? So this is a delay plugin. You can throw it in single or dual. Single will give you one of these. Dual gives you a second one. So you can play with the left and the right. You can add a little bit of delay in the left or and the right speaker and create something interesting. Pretty good delay plugin.
It's time they know.
So it's very low, it's very subtle. I think it's like 1%. Feedback's at 3%. So it's very, you can't hear it. You can hear it, but
It's time they know.
so I kind of want these to like accumulate to like something. If I bypass all of them,
It's time they know.
a big something is missing.
It's time they know.
Adds a little bit of sheen, brightness, kind of like spread the vocal out, make it more stereo. So these are the same thing as those ones. We ain't gonna talk about those. We'll start here.
It's time they know. It's time.
All right, a de-esser reacting to that S.
It's time they know.
All right, a little bit of EQing, typical vocal EQ, high pass at 80, low shelf at 143. So we're removing 6 decibels of a shelf filter at 143. All right, so removing a peak filter, so we're reducing 400. A little bit of reduction here, not anything crazy. And so low, we're working on the low and low mids, nothing from the top or high mids. Leave that alone, then compress those, and you get this.
It's time they know that you've been chosen.
And then after that, then you can kind of like start to like boost frequencies in the top and the high mids, highs. So what we did is we picked 1.3 and boost about 2 decibels of 1.3, boosted 2.5 or 4K, and then a shelf at 10K plus 4, adding 4 dB shelf of 10K. And then we went from here
It's time they know.
to there.
It's time they know.
Pretty life-changing for the vocal. Compress all that.
It's time they know.
So this thing's got this warmth thing that can kind of like smooth out all these top frequencies and really do something to them. And then you can go back and add like a peak at 12K. You've seen this before. It's that same weird EQ. I have this one mid band right here. It goes all the way up to 16. So pick 12, boost 310, not 310 decibels, but 3 decibels roughly.
It's time they know.
That's pretty much the whole thing. Love these plugins. This is not sponsored, and I feel like this is the best way for me to create some type of awareness, because I think more engineers should be using these to like use them heavily, like put them in your template and use them. I think they sound absolutely ridiculous, and they come bundled with your Komplete. So if you don't have them, you don't have. It's not mandatory that you buy. You know, I wouldn't buy these. No slight to Native Instruments, but if I didn't have them, stock plugins would have done perfectly fine. But since I already have them, I've been trying to make this video since maybe like 2009, 10-ish. Since I discovered like Driver. But here we are, 2025. But rather late than never. So here it is.
Well, you may not have the loudest voice, but you could sing above the noise. The flashing lights, the endless toys, take all that you hear and make it yours. Keep it in your soul. You've been chosen. Take a walk on the boulevard, find your place among the stars. No, you may not have the loudest voice, but you could sing above the noise. You've been chosen to do great things. You've been chosen to do great things. You are more than what you've been revealing. So let it out and let it shine. And know that it's only a matter of time until they know as well as you know. You've been chosen. You've been chosen.
All right, so this has been the Native Instrument plugins, and there's a different version of this video that kind of like goes over a vocal chain with these plugins. If you want to check it out, it's right here. Other than that, I thank you so much for watching. I've been Fuego. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.